Well, hello, I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I'm here with Vivian, who has two children that we worked with. We have a 4.5-year-old baby boy, or he's not a baby boy anymore. He's a full-blown school-age child, and a 15-month-old whom she was nursing. So Vivian, thank you so much for being here to share your story, because I think it's such an important story about what it's like to have two different age groups and needing help in both, and needing help within short order to reach your sleep goals. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start at the top, which is, what did life look like specifically with your 4.5-year-old before you called me?
Yeah, I mean, my 4.5-year-old hasn't been sleeping by himself for years. He was a little bit sleep trained when he was 1 year old, but soon after, when he turned into toddler age, he needed his daddy to sleep with him, most primarily to hold his thumb. And then very quickly, it kind of escalated to need the whole body, like cuddle. And at first it worked okay because he would sleep until midnight. And then so both me and my husband would be, continue to work at home. But then after midnight, he will start waking up at 3 a.m. So one of us will go in and then he'll say, no, I need dad. So dad goes in to sleep with him. He tried to put him back to bed. He comes out. And then very quickly, within months, he needed him to go back again in an hour, in half an hour. And then by 4 years old, he wakes up after midnight. And then every time my husband tries to leave the room, he just won't let him leave.
Right.
Basically, he can't get any work done after midnight. He's co-sleeping with him in his bedroom. And when he's traveling for work, I have to co-sleep with him. So I can't do anything at home in the middle of the night either. And it has become just so much more difficult, especially when I have a baby to take care of. And it was just a lot of negotiation of, please stay in the bedroom. If the baby is crying, I do need to feed the baby. But then my older son would be crying, and so it would kind of just wake up the whole house in the middle of the night.
Right, exactly. So can you guys just visualize this? Like, we've all been, if you have two children and you have sleep challenges, you have been exactly where Vivian has been, right? She's got a husband that travels internationally for work. So when husband's home, husband's co-sleeping with baby number one, she's nursing baby number two. So there's like total like tag team. But the minute dad has to go do an international trip where he's gone for weeks, all of a sudden it's now one mom, two children, which actually feels like four, who need her continuously all day, all night, both for the co-sleeping and for the nursing. And it just became unsustainable on every single level. And that's when Vivian reached out to me. So I guess my question to you is, like, tell them how you found me.
I found you on Yelp. I was, researching like sleep consultants, sleep coaches, and your name came up with a lot of 5-star reviews. And I saw that you are close locally to my area. So I looked up your website. What really stood out to me was that you mentioned is gentle sleep coach. We have always been wary about like cry out loud. We've never really tried it, even when we did sleep training ourselves. But there's just so much information online, and it's just so hard for me to navigate. Like, some friends will tell me, just do cry it out. And then others say, do a modified Ferber or something. So we're doing our own patchwork kind of sleep training. And then it almost feels like it just got worse.
Yes.
And no matter what information I try to read online, it conflicts with another web page or some other forum that I read online, and just it becomes so much noise that all this research that I feel like I'm gathering information is just not helping at all. And so, like, when I, read through your website, and I said, oh gosh, guilt-free, yes, and gentle sleep, yes, I really need to reach out to Joanna and like, let's have a chat and see how she can help. And frankly, at first I was worried because most of the sleep coaches website is like, oh, we help babies. And I thought, well, 4.5-year-old is not a
Mm-hmm.
baby anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of my peers, their kids have already been sleep trained by the time they're 1-year-old or 2-year-old. And I just haven't really seen any situations online whether a 4.5-year-old could be sleep trained.
Yeah.
So I went into it in an open mind, fully expecting Joanna to to tell me like, oh, I'm sorry, like this is a very tough case, maybe it won't work. But she was like, yes, I can do it. Like we can work on this. And it really gave me a lot of hope going into this training.
Oh
So
my gosh, Vivian, thank you so much. You just said so many important things. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the 4.5-year-old, right? So first of all, I work with children like literally up to 10 years of age. So if you 6 months to 10 years, so got you covered. Sleep is a learned skill, which means that we can always create the right circumstances and environment for the learning to come online. Okay, so there's no case that can't be solved. All right, so that's good news number one. I also think it's super important that she mentioned that Vivian is a highly intelligent, college educated woman. Her husband is like PhD, master's, blah. I mean, like every, like every degree a human being can have. So between the two of them, they are like a master brain. So they had been reading and researching and reading some more and trying things and as most parents do, you put your head down, you do your research, you try to figure things out, you try your darndest to be available to your child, but also simultaneously work towards your goals. So it's Vivian, like she had already tried everything, like she had done her due diligence on every level. So the fact that she had the inclination to go to Yelp probably felt like a little bit of like a defeat. Like, okay, I have literally exhausted all options. I guess I'll try typing in these sentences and hope that maybe someone normal shows up in my feed. Okay. So when she called me and she's going to check me out. I mean, again, these people have masters and PhDs, like they're going to be like, okay, who are you? And is this for real? I found you on Yelp, right? So there's always this feeling that if you didn't get referred to me by your doctor, your pediatrician, by a friend, a colleague, I'm like, how do you know if Joanna's the real deal? How do you know if guilt-free gentle sleep coaching can really happen, right? Like there's a lot of trust and faith that went into Vivian and her husband, with, by the way, he's not able to join us today because he's traveling internationally, but they were a team. I mean, step by step, Dad did all the coaching. So, I mean, they were just, we were a team of 3, and we were like business partners over the course of multiple weeks while we got the older son sleeping through the night. And then we also worked on the younger son to wean the night feeds. So I just want to say thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting the process. And to also recognize that it's not a defeat to have called to ask for help. That most families feel like by the time they get to me, they're like, oh my God, I had no choice but to call you. And so there's a little bit like, I tried my best, but I can't. But what I say, no, you actually asked for help. And that is what mom should be doing from the tippy top. Because if you need something solved and you want to feel good about the process, asking for help, getting the right help, obviously, but asking for help and getting the right help is just going to make the process so smooth, right? I mean, we had a very smooth process. It was very sequential. It was totally in unification with her 4.5-year-old. Like he knew exactly what we were doing, when we were doing it. He understood everything. Like, so there was nothing nothing was feeling forced or put upon him, which is why he was so compliant the whole time, which was such a relief to you guys, right?
Yes, exactly.
Very smooth process. And we got to see this kid learn in like real time. It was so awesome. So what does it look like now? Okay. So who's doing what?
So in a short 18 days, Ziad started sleeping by himself in his room. And we recently went through the daylight savings, which I thought was going to be a little bit of a hiccup again right after we just sleep trained him. But with the techniques that Joanna has taught us, he is just sleeping over 11 hours a night.
I know.
He's been able to just sleep before by 7:30 p.m. and then waking up at 7 a.m. in the morning every single night without negotiation, without fuss. He, before he would be like crying to us, like, oh, don't leave me alone. Like, I need you. I really want you, mama. I really want you, baba. Don't leave me alone, and crying in tears. Now he's like, okay, good night, mom. I will see you in the morning. Bye bye. I love you. And then I just close the door and then I go to get the baby to bed. So it's been, night and day.
Night and day,
Yeah.
night and day.
Mhm.
And just like, so what we're looking at, you guys, is I should also say, he sleeps those 11 hours consolidated and wakes up happy, in a good mood, ready for school. Way easier to parent, because he used to have wicked tantrums.
Oh,
No
yeah.
more tantrums.
Yeah. Mhm.
He's calm, he's more engaged.
Yeah, it's like my husband and I were saying, oh my God, like this looks like a different child. Like we were so surprised. But in a sense, we knew that how important sleep is. Like without sleep, like consolidated sleep, restless sleep for years. He like,
He
it's
did.
been like weighing on him. And then it's just all these tantrums, acting out. It's just emotions are much more dysregulated before, and now it's not that he doesn't get upset or frustrated, but it's just so much more easier to like talk to him and he listens, and then
Mm,
he calms down much quicker.
I know, the listening, right? You're able to, because he's a super smart child. And so like mom and her son can like really sit down, like they can like explain something to him, and has the capacity to like listen, internalize, and then like come to agreement, which is
Mhm.
what was so great about this process, is that it just was always like decisions were made with him.
Mhm.
Because he is so smart that we needed to just make it be that like this is something we're all doing together as a family. So it's just an awesome experience. So yeah, so if there you are on a playground, like in the next couple of weeks, you're on a playground, you meet a mom, she's sleep deprived, she's got a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, or she's got a 15-month-old and she's still nursing all night long and the child's co-sleeping. And she's like, man, I am tired. Like, what do you want that mom to know about sleep coaching?
Well, first of all, I might ask them, hey, would you like a sleep coach? Because Joanna is just so amazing to work with. And there's definitely hope for families to get sleep all together. If the kids sleep well, the parents will sleep well as well. Working with Joanna is just amazing. She walks us through step by step. We were like just panicked. We were kind of part panicked and part giving up by the time we were
Right.
we were trying to reach Joanna, but she gives us like instructions per night on what to do. We have like a pre-launch call, so we don't have to worry about far out in the future. She breaks it down to step by step for us, which is so helpful for us. We just can't retain too much information at any one time. And we just follow exactly what she tells us to do. She gives us even scripts on what to say in the middle of the night when Ziad at first would be crying for us, at the transition time. And the way that we respond really helped our child to be receptive to what's going on and to be receptive to the coaching. And I think that makes so much of a difference. And it really helps with, how within 18 days, Ziad was able to just sleep through the night all by himself. So I
Yeah.
really want to thank Joanna so much for her guidance and help, and the call right after each night, so we can
Yes.
talk about what worked and what can be improved, so we can tweak our method each night as Ziad actually grew and
Yes.
learn more of his own sleep skills, to help him sleep by himself and go back to sleep by himself in the middle of the night.
Exactly. Yeah. So when families work with me, we're talking like all the time. I mean, we're talking like we talk after night 1, after night 2, after 3, after 4.
Mhm.
Then we might talk every 2 days. You're sending me sleep logs. So there is, I am, I'm on the late breaking news of everything that's going on with your child, like a fly on a wall, and I'm able to tell you what you might see. So it just really is full blown, comprehensive individualized,
Mhm.
customized support in real time, essentially. But I just wanted, the reason why I really wanted Vivian to share her story is just this really important thing about, you have a 4.5-year-old and you think you're stuck with a child that doesn't sleep well, and that this is just, you're going to be your parenting life. And in fact, we have found that this child sleeps amazing, 11 hours consolidated, and is totally a different child now. And that was after 4.5 years of sleep struggles, you know, except for that brief period where he was sleeping mediocre around a year old. And then that gave Vivian courage with her now 15-month-old to say, well, wait a second, like what's possible with the older kid is absolutely possible with this younger. And so then we worked on, you know, really getting those sleep skills anchored for the younger child. And now she's got, you know, what I call a well-rested family. And that's kind of what my mission is. I'm on a well-rested family revolution. And now they're going to be able to go move internationally and do these big long haul trips and be confident in their child's sleep skills for life, which is amazing. So thank you, Vivian, for
Thank you
sharing your
so much,
story.
Joanna.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.